Running with the runners. 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 Running with the runners.
All right. I hope you are running with the runners because we are just winning every single day. It's Tuesday, October 28th, 2025. No tricks tonight, M.I.M.S. Only treats for people that want to stack generational wealth. As always, I got my good brother here, Ricardo Hamilton, making it make sense. What's going on, my man?
Just going on. What's going on? Fired up and excited as always. Y'all know what time it is. Y'all running with the runners. Lace up. Let's get wealthy, man. We got a phenomenal show for you guys tonight. Phenomenal show for you guys tonight. We've been telling people for years now what to do, and we're seeing what's going on. And let me tell you, we're going to continue to help people win. And that's why we're going to show you how to build some generational wealth. Fired up and excited. Mike, what's going on, brother? How are you?
Man, I'm just getting inspired, right? Everything I see happening is coming to fruition. Everything we've been saying for the last 5-10 years is coming true. My concern is for the people out there that don't get it, right? That don't understand what we have been teaching, what we have been preaching. So tonight, guys, we're going to try to lay it all out, okay? You want generational wealth, you got to have patience, right? You got to get educated. That's what I would say the two biggest things people lack right now is getting educated and having the patience to make it work. So we're going to try to lay it out to you guys in multiple formats tonight of how you can start this. But let me be clear, Ricardo, as we always say, right? We are not into get rich quick schemes. We want to get wealthy slowly. That's what we're going to lay out for the people tonight.
Yeah, facts. 100%.
So the first thing we have to understand, okay, you have to understand you are a slave. We were all born slaves, okay? The entire system that we grew up in, this entire matrix, whatever you want to call it, is meant to make us slaves, all right? The first video we're going to show you guys, I think very succinctly sums it up why we are slaves if you play inside their game. If you stay inside the system, if you do the 40-40 plan, if you decide to work 40 years, 40 hours a week to retire then on 40% of your income, you are a slave. I'm sorry. I've been there too. I was in that system for almost 20 years. Thank God I broke out. I found people like Robert Kiyosaki, Rich Dad, Poor Dad. I saw this guy named Ricardo Hamilton talking about the Federal Reserve on YouTube, and I've gotten to grow my network and learn from other people who think outside the box. M.I.M.S, as I pull up this video here to get us started, maybe hit on that point of you have to first understand you are trapped in a system that is meant to enslave you. And until you recognize that, there's really nothing we can do to help you.
You know, I mean, that's a great point, and that's where it all starts, you know, at the beginning, at the foundation of it. And, you know, we're all slaves to a debt-based fiat monetary system. You know, one thing that didn't teach you in school was about money, but it's something that everybody goes to work for. It's what everybody's going to school for, so they can, you know, get education, to get a job and specialize in a particular area, to have a career. It's what people are paying taxes for. It's the monetary system. It comes down to the money. And when you don't have an honest money system, this is why you have a corruption. And so we have corruption all over. And now we're seeing the epitome of the corruption, you know, in all areas of human activity. You know, the healthcare system is corrupt. The information, the news system is corrupt. The government is corrupt. I mean, every area of human activity you could think about, there's corruption. And I lay it at the feet of the Federal Reserve and in this debt-based fiat monetary system. It's the private central banks. And when you understand that, then you can tie it into whatever your favorite, you know, practice or specialty is, or whatever you love to study, or your field or career. When you trace the money, then you will find the corruption. Okay, you will find the root cause of the problem. And so because of this debt-based fiat system, where, you know, we're borrowing what we call money, which is really debt, and then we have to pay that back to private central banks at interest, and that the more money they create, which is the more debt that they create, the less value the money in circulation. So people are working every single day, waking up to go to work for some money, which is not even money, and what they call money doesn't hold value. It loses value over time. It's insanity. And so we try to figure out ways to beat the system and get ahead. But you have to change the system at its root, because it's always going to create the discrepancies and the challenges that we're seeing now, in people's lives and in the economy. So yes, we are all slaves to the central banks, the Federal Reserve, this debt-based fiat monetary system. And the thing is, we don't have to be. We don't have to be.
Yeah, and this is one of the best clips that I found that just really woke me up and just showed how people are kept in slavery and their wealth and time is robbed from them.
Central banking is an institutionalized system of time theft, because ultimately the fruits of your labor are a product of your time or energy, right? Time and energy used synonymously here. We printed $6 trillion in 2020, right, in the US. The average annual US salary is $60,000 roughly. That's 100 million years stolen, right? Through the counterfeiting of currency.
100 million years of people's lives were stolen in 2020 when they printed $6 trillion, just to make sure you guys are following at home.
If each human works from the age of 20 to 70, so that's about 50 productive years per human, the counterfeiting of $6 trillion USD equals the stealing of 2 million human lives worth of productive labor. Right? This is to try to make it real, like it's a real massive problem. And then of course the plausible deniability that's built into inflation, right? It's Putin's fault. It's Beyonce's fault. It's the supply chains. It's everything but the central bank. So again, we're back to that romantic lie, the deception and the stealing going hand in hand. I think this is hopefully what we can deliver as Bitcoiners, is pulling back the veil on this bullshit. Central banking is an institution.
2 million lives were stolen in 1 year. And that's just America, M.I.M.S. We're not even talking about the other countries in the world that are doing the exact same thing, right? Printing money out of thin air, debt-based fiat, slavery system currency. And the people that continue to play in this game will continue to lose. That's why we see the crime, the poverty, people now freaking out about the government shutting down and SNAP benefits going away because they've become dependent on government. M.I.M.S, we had an awesome training on this on Sunday. But again, if you can give your reaction to this, really just putting it into perspective of how inflation is the silent killer, of how it is robbing every one of us from our time and our energy. And until people realize that, there's really nothing we can do to help them.
Yeah, I think that this is the number one topic that should be discussed, talked about on everybody's dinner table, online, socially, because you have to understand that the more money they create, the more creation of dollars they're stealing from the future. And whose future are they stealing from? They're stealing from your future, your children's future, your children's children's future, and so on, because they're taking the value, okay, of what people are working for, and they're devaluing it. And this is the problem why, we have to have sound money, because it stops their ability to create and steal from the future when they just print money. So he talked about 2020. We all know what happened in 2020, COVID, the scamdemic, right? And they shut everything down. Nobody went to work, no shipments, no deliveries. They were shutting everything down, right? And then they just printed money. Well, where does the money come from? They're stealing from the future. And so now who's paying for it? Everybody right now, because you're paying for it through inflation. And they've been stealing the whole time. But that's the hidden tax. Nobody really talks about the inflation tax, but that's the hidden tax. And it's getting to a point, where, it's imploding on itself. And, this is why we're seeing the reset that we're seeing right now, but it's because people did not, want to focus on the monetary system. They didn't understand inflation. They don't understand the creation of dollars and what the dollar is. They don't understand, what it is that they're working for, that they continue on with this. And I think it was, I want to say Henry Ford, but I might be incorrect. But he said essentially, that if America ever understood, the people, if we ever understood how the present banking and monetary system works today, there'll be a revolution by tomorrow morning. right? And it's because the people are asleep. They're docile. They're not aware of how the monetary system works, because it can be a little complex, but it's not as complex as it was back in the day to understand. It's much easier to understand now because you're feeling it. You're seeing it in the rise in prices of your goods and services, the groceries and rent and everything else. But this is, like I said, public enemy number one. This is the number one focus that everybody should be focusing on. And it comes back to the dollar and this debt-based fiat model.
So I posted this today, Mems, on my Facebook, but I just want to again bring the visuals, guys. We're trying to educate you here, right? I have here a quarter from, I don't know if that'll focus in there, probably not. Okay, but this quarter is from 1964. Okay, back then they put real money in here. All right, this is 90% silver. So today, this quarter that was 25 cents is now worth about almost over $10 because it's 90% silver, 10% copper. So this quarter, by just holding this quarter from 1964, has turned into over $10. And so when you stop to think about that, Mems, I have here 5 quarters pre 65. 5 quarters. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. 5 of them. Just 5 quarters, Mems.
So you got is what, $1.25?
That's
right?
$1.25. What are you going to do with $1.25? You can't even buy a cheeseburger at McDonald's with $1.25.
I can't even get a biscuit in Popeyes with $1.25. Okay.
But $1.25, having all these be pre-64 quarters, you're looking at about $45 right here. Think about that. $1.25 to $45.
That's magic.
By simply holding real money versus fake fiat paper or the fake quarters, dimes they make today. Now, Mims, here's the problem, right? Let me pull up this visual just so people can see.
That's why Jesus got upset with the money changers right there.
That's right. That's right. So $15 in constitutional money. Some people call it junk silver. You can say constitutional money. Was it Section 10?
Article 1, Section 10 of the U.S.
Article 1, Section 10 of the U.S. Constitution. Okay. Unconstitutional money is all the fake fiat stuff they create from the Federal Reserve. So $15 is now worth $505 in unconstitutional money. Hashtag silver squeeze. You guys can do the math there. But again, Mems, this is about the education and people exiting that system. And again, what do they have us do? They have us fighting left, right, Democrat, Republican. Oh, we need to raise the minimum wage. No, we don't need to raise the minimum wage. Imagine if the minimum wage was $45. We'd all probably be good. If a teenager go out and get a job at a gas station or McDonald's and make $45 an hour, they'd probably be pretty happy and live a pretty good life. But that's not the case now. They can go out and get a job for 8, 10, 12 bucks an hour, and a Big Mac costs $10. So again, until you realize the root cause of the problem, you can't make generational wealth if you try to make it inside the system.
I think that's an excellent point, to really help people kind of understand, what the fight, what the argument, what this all is about. You don't need more money. You need money. You need real money. So you talked about somebody asking for a raise. It's not necessarily that you need a raise. It's not necessarily that you need to make more money, because for one thing, I understand what you're working for is not money. And the reason you need more of it is because they create more of it, which rises the value of the goods and services that you're trying to acquire for your lifestyle, and for your living. So what we really need is sound money. What we really need is a monetary system that is sound, okay? The way it used to be, backed by God's money, silver and gold, right? But because we don't have that, okay, that's why we're seeing the problems that we're seeing right now with food insecurity, the rising cost of healthcare coverage. And then they tell you it's this, and they say it's the Democrats, they say it's Republicans, they say it's this and that. And all the blame really needs to be at the Federal Reserve and its debt-based fiat model. We have to get away from this debt-based fiat system and return back to a sound monetary system. Doesn't matter who you are, what field you're in, what career you're in. we're all utilizing paper money, the dollar, the fiat currency. And that paper money is going to continue and at a rapid and accelerated rate at this point in time lose value and confidence globally. And we're at an inflection point right now because when you see gold rising to all-time highs and you're seeing silver rising to all-time highs, that is an indication that there's a loss in confidence and there's a crisis in the dollar. Okay. And we're seeing a reset right before our eyes. So it's very important that people really just understand that there's certain events that change humanity forever. And we're living in that time where this is the most significant time period ever. And it will be studied and be debated for centuries. But what you do with your time and your dollars right now is the most critical for you and your family and for generations to come.
No, 100%. I saw what you've been talking about the other day, Mims. I have a church next door to me, and they do a food drive Monday at 4 p.m. And I was driving home from the gym, and it was about 3:50. And I thought there was a parade or a rock star was in town. There were cars everywhere, people walking across the street. I'm like, is it Halloween? Why is everyone out in the streets? There were that many people coming to the food bank because that's how many people are struggling because of this debt-based fiat monetary slave system. So the first question you have to ask yourself, okay, is this you? Okay, this is probably, if I'm being generous, 80% of the people, it's probably closer to 90%. But this is where most people are living right now. They are taking the blue pill, and this is what their life is like. What do you think, Mims? I think that's your new theme song right there.
I mean, it was a little fast, but I'm gonna tell you one thing: they got and everything they said in there was true. And
Well, let's slow it down here, Mims. Let's slow it down.
Now, but
and then you can break it down.
Yeah. Go ahead. Yeah.
So the money isn't real. You don't own it.
That's right.
Nobody does. They banned gold in 33. They nuked the gold standard in 1971. Since then, it's fake monopoly money, right? Since 2020, banks hold zero reserves.
Right.
When you put $100 in the bank,
fractional
they
reserve
loan it
lending
out
requirements
and devalue it.
Yeah, it's all they used to have to keep 10% of your money in the bank. They now are not required to keep any of your money in the bank.
Yep.
That should be very scary to you.
The dollar's lost 97% of its value. Your paycheck is an IOU. Your savings, I like that one. I missed that one. Your savings is a shared hallucination. We gotta start using that more. There's 100 trillion in debt. Or the first one, there's 20 trillion in money, 100 trillion in debt. $1, 10 owners. Nobody owns anything unless it's on the blockchain, right? The Fed is a private cartel founded in secret on Jekyll Island. They create money. You trade your life for it. That's the point we're trying to get to you guys tonight, is if you are inside this system, you are a slave where you're trading your life for fake stuff they create out of thin air to control you.
It's important to get this perception because they're puppet masters. You know, it's like, look over here, don't look over there. It's the Hegelian dialectic. You know, it's kind of like, you know, they presenting two problems to you, but they all lead to the same road. And so they got everybody distracted, and divide and conquer is a great strategy. But, you know, and that's what they're doing right now. You know, it's freaking Coke versus Pepsi and Xbox versus PlayStation and Democrat versus Republican. It's, you know, red and blue. It's, you know, this division instead of us actually uniting under the common problem that we found. A common denominator to both parties, to everything, is the money. You got to follow the money. You know,
we broke this down last week, how the stock market's a scam, right? Because if you divide the S&P 500 by the money supply, there is no growth. Real inflation is about 9% a year. The S&P goes up on average about 9% a year.
Yep. We'll confiscate your wealth, but we got to put it somewhere.
Yeah, it's
You
a, it's
know?
the like Wolf of Wall Street had it right, bro. It is a fugazi. That's
Yeah,
all
it's
it
not
is.
real.
It
Yeah.
goes up, it goes down. They make their fees. You give them their money. They hold on to it for 50 years. And then they give you a little breadcrumb at the end. That's
Yeah.
basically it. Inflation is a hidden tax. Prices aren't rising. Every empire ends this way. Every fiat burns. They will inflate it to zero. They will rob you blind. You are the extra liquidity. Cryptocurrency and blockchain is your only way out. Escape the matrix. TikTok.
Yeah.
Wake up.
Yeah. Problem, reaction, solution. You know, there's a problem. The dollar. They're gonna create your reaction for you. That's essentially what they want to do, and they want to direct your reaction. And they don't want you to be intelligent enough to figure out the problem yourself, and then actually react in a strategic way that actually benefits you, right? Because they have a solution, and their solution is not benefiting you. Now, the thing about it is that for those who got eyes to see, ears to hear, who can obviously take in information and apply it, no, we can see their solution. But the thing is now we are in position to be on the winning side of this equation because we have the same information they have. We have access the same way they have access. So this is why we're telling people, when you see gold and silver rising, central banks are buying, the wealthy are buying. These are assets, it's real money. When you see Bitcoin rising all-time highs, when you understand the certain blockchains that are integral to the global financial system's function, and you can acquire these digital assets now before they flip the switch and move quadrillions of dollars on the blockchain and tokenize everything. You can buy the digital assets of those blockchains now and totally change your reality for generations to come. They don't want you to have access to these assets. If they could make it to where you could not buy digital assets, you had to go to Klaus Schwab or Fidelity or some other brokerage, they would make it to where that's the only way you can get these digital assets, because they want this wealth transfer to only be for themselves and their circle. Okay. But this is for everybody who hears it and actually takes action.
Well, so perfect segue, M.I.M.S, because we've been telling you guys about this for 7-8 years now, about cryptocurrency and blockchain, right? Just now, not the masses even. I wish the normal people would wake up, but what's crazy is we got hedge funds, BlackRock telling us to buy these things, and the normal people still don't get it. I don't know why. That's why we're here every week. That's why we do what we do, especially when it comes to Texit. This just happened today. When the CEO of the world's largest asset manager speaks, the world listens. BlackRock's Larry Fink just confirmed what crypto investors have long understood. If you want to protect your wealth and hedge against inflation, you buy Bitcoin and crypto. Crypto assets or gold are assets of fear. You own these assets because you're frightened of the debasement of your assets. What was once dismissed as speculation is now recognized as sound money, a safeguard in an age of monetary debasement. So basically, Ricardo and I were 8 years ahead of where now the biggest hedge fund managers are at. So you didn't believe us for the last 8 years. Maybe now that you see them saying it and they're finally seeing what we've been talking about, maybe that'll help some people wake up of like, no, this is real. It's happening. You better get on board if you want to make generational wealth.
If you believe that countries are going to continue to debase their currency, if you believe that there's going to be global rise of insecurity, owning crypto assets or gold are assets of fear. You own these assets because you're frightened of the debasement of your assets. You're worried about your financial security. You're worried about your physical security, and between crypto assets and gold, they believe, there's a strong belief that is a good hedge against optimism.
Okay. Jamie, you were a little, or
if you believe that countries are going to continue to
a shorter version one from the M.I.M.S you sent me. But Jamie Dimon, JP Morgan Chase head CEO of Chase Bank, got on and basically admitted, yeah, I was wrong. Yeah, I lied to you all. Yeah, I said Bitcoin was rat poison or whatever he said. But now even he has come around. So again, I don't know how much we can just try
Yeah.
to urge people to get educated in this space and this whole, well, I just don't get it. Okay, guys, go ahead and dance in the club and watch NFL and invest in the S&P 500 and listen to Dave Ramsey. I don't know what to do. I don't know. People that aren't ready to listen and take action, Mims, I just don't know how to help those people. We're ready here to help the runners who want to change their lives.
Yeah, I mean, the debasement of your currency obviously is real. The fear of the debasement and your quality standard of living being affected by that is real. Um, so the real thing that you should be doing is buying gold and silver and digital assets. You know, the thing is that if you can't beat them, join them. And they couldn't beat blockchain. They couldn't
Yep.
stop it. They couldn't stop it.
Exactly.
They couldn't stop it. And so now they're joining it because they want to maintain some credibility in the global economy. And the rest of the world, it's not just us. The rest of the world is realizing the scam of Federal Reserve, central banks, fiat currency. And so they're saying, oh, you got us. Well, this is what we're going to do. We're going to move everything on the blockchain now. So now we're going to provide a trustful, or a transparent system that you can see on this public blockchain ledger. And we're going to move everything, and everybody's going to accept it and agree because they're just going to go along with, who still has some weight and power in the global economy, which they do. But I mean, they're telling you, like, yeah, if you're afraid of inflation and debasement of your currency, which you should be, okay, because that's what we're seeing now, and that's what affects your quality standard of living, then you should buy gold and silver and digital assets. Okay. And if you're doing that, you're doing the right thing right now. You're ahead of the masses of people. You're ahead of the curve. So, if you're doing good right now, especially like there's people who relied on one stream of income, they've lost their jobs, they're worried about the food stamps and the EBT getting cut off. They're worried about, all this and that. If you're making money right now, you are blessed. And what I mean, you are in a position that a lot of people aren't in. If you're not even worried about this government shutdown, if you're not worried about the debasement of your currency, because you've created multiple streams of income, because you're in blockchain and crypto, because you've been buying silver and gold, because you have multiple streams of income, because you're leveraging systems and opportunities and, putting yourself in position to not have to rely on one stream of income. So congratulations to you, because there's a lot of people who aren't in that position. And, it's going to be interesting to see how things transpire and move forward. But I do know for sure, if you're saving in God's money and you're investing in these digital assets, you're going to be in a much better position than if you weren't.
Yeah, 100%, guys. And again, that's what we're saying here. If you guys are watching this right now, like this wherever you're watching it, share it out, tag a few people, send it to them right now. I don't know anyone in the world who doesn't need to hear this right now. I mean, we've been on the forefront trying to help as many people as possible. And again, BlackRock, Larry Fink, now M.I.M.S, this just happened today. Western Union, I think they've been around for over 150 years, right? You remember, what is it? Back to the Future, right? Western Union was in the third one when they went back to the Wild Wild West, right? Western Union was the way you send money to people, and then it went international. Well, here's their CEO explaining the future is digital.
So for 175 years, we've been connecting people with technology, and we've been using that technology to move money. This is the next evolution, moving to digital assets and the ability to move money seamlessly, cost-effectively, and rapidly everywhere around the world, using the infrastructure and the scale we already have with modern blockchain technology. We think this is the next evolution, not just in our history, but in how remittances happen around the world. If you're Western Union and you're already moving $100 billion a year across borders, picking a partner that does exactly that, fast, efficient, stable, and secure, is really, really important. And so we went and looked at most of the other alternatives and came to the conclusion for an institutional use case like ours, the Solana blockchain was the right choice for us. So for 107.
So big news. I know M.I.M.S, the
was
XRP boy, isn't gonna like that, but
No, it's not. It's not. Has nothing to do with XRP, but Solana is crazy work. Crazy work. It's horrible. Anyways, yeah.
it's fast, it's quick, and it's cheap. Like
Yeah,
that's what they wanted.
yeah, inefficient, shuts down all the time. Yeah. It's okay. They'll upgrade to better blockchains eventually.
So this is the other one I wanted to watch from Michael Saylor at Money 2020. And again, guys, we was watching this video the other day, Ricardo, and this guy said to consult your financial advisor.
Mhm.
And I just had to take a chuckle there because most of the people I know that have a financial advisor
They know nothing.
still have a job and
Yeah.
don't have much to do. But their financial advisor made a good living. So
All the
anyways,
world
guys,
is
this
free.
is the point. By the time your financial advisor tells you what to do, it's going to be 20 years too late.
By the time the bankers tell you it's okay to buy it, it'll cost you $1 million of Bitcoin. And when they tell you it's a good idea, it'll cost 10 million of Bitcoin. So you're getting a 99% discount right now to do the work yourself and show some courage. And you get a 90% discount, when they make it easy for you, but you'll pay 10 times more.
Do the work and show some courage, M.I.M.S. Let's make that our new
That
our new
part.
mantra.
Yeah. Yeah, that part. I mean, most people are told what to do. They don't do something unless somebody else is doing it, or that somebody that their job recommended it, or they're waiting for somebody to save them. They're waiting for somebody to give them the answers. They're waiting for somebody to tell them what to do when you already know. You already know what to do, especially if you've been listening to us running with the runners. People know what to do, right? But yeah, I mean, like you said, Mike, I don't know how many ways we can say it. How many ways, we can actually do it and prove it. People have been watching us over the years, just having massive success, helping thousands, tens of thousands, quite frankly, if not more people globally, traveling, accumulating assets. I mean, I got more silver here. I'm buying at $40, $50 an ounce. And I'm not going to stop buying because I understand that I'm building wealth. That's what, this is the title of the show, is how to build generational wealth. You build it by holding on to assets. And the thing is that you don't sell your assets. You leverage them. You use them as collateral. You loan against them. You borrow against your assets, right? And so you never have to, and that's the time that we're coming up on. People don't realize, but everything is getting tokenized. Okay, so the gold and silver will be tokenized. You'll be able to get your gold and silver physically tokenized. We know how to do that now, right? And it'll go through a blockchain, and you'll be able to get a loan against your digital gold or silver, okay? And you will never have to sell your asset. You will borrow against your asset. And as your asset rises in value, which it will do because the asset is still based in dollars. The asset technically still will be based in dollars, okay? The dollar will continue to lose value and confidence. The asset will continue to rise in value. And at that point, at the end game is, don't value your wealth in dollars. This is something that we always talk about. Value your wealth in ounces of silver, ounces of gold. Value your wealth in Satoshis or Sats or Bitcoin or whatever digital asset it is, XRP or Drop or, whatever it is. Value your wealth and assets, okay? Don't say I got $1 million, $100,000, $10,000. I got
Right.
two 100-ounce bars right here. I don't value them. It's $10,000, right? For the two 100-ounce bars, this is 10,000. But what happens when silver goes to?
Remember when 100-ounce bar of silver we bought for under $3,000?
Oh my God, yeah, it was like 2,500, bro. So it'd be stupid to value my wealth because then I say, well, I saved $2,500. Nah, I got two 100-ounce bars, right? These two 100-ounce bars are buying me acres, not hundreds of acres of land.
Yep.
At some point in time in the near future, in my opinion. The way things are going. I mean, when you have to understand the difference between real money and fake money, and there's only so much real, but there's a whole lot of fake.
Yeah, guys. And what gets us excited is obviously gold and silver. They've been around for 10,000 years, right? Bitcoin, XRP, Litecoin, Ethereum, they've been around for about a decade. But if you want to get in real early, if you want to create generational wealth, you got to get in early to a project that is community-based of like-minded people who want to do what we were talking about today, who want to help people wake people up from the debt-based fiat monetary system, who want to create a new currency, right? A new way to do things that is American based, and that we actually have control of, not Wall Street, not China. So just this last week, Texit had its first launch in the United States. Pionex.us is a new exchange we just got on. You can literally connect your bank account right to it to move money in to buy Texit. Or if you're a miner with us and you're getting paid every single day and you want to take a little profit, you can move that to your bank account and connect it all. So they're doing a bonus right now to share that they just got on Pionex. This is again the Pionex. This was just announced on October 24th that they are on Pionex. And even when you go to the company's main website, oops, I'm sharing the wrong screen. Give me 1 second. And again, guys, this is a U.S. exchange. You see right here on the top banner, M.I.M.S. Deposit and trade $200 in TXC, share in the $45,000 USDT grid bonus. So again, M.I.M.S., the haters are out. Everyone loves to throw kings at the stone or throw stones at the king. But again, guys, we keep getting on exchange after exchange. We're on the front page of an exchange, and I got tutorial videos coming out about this. But M.I.M.S, I mean, let's just celebrate here for a minute. Look at the markets here. Pionex and JU.com added M.I.M.S. When we started this,
Are
M.I.M.S,
you show your screen, Mike?
one.
You
Oh,
you
why do
sharing the
I
right
gotta share
screen?
the whole screen? Yeah, let me share the whole window.
I'm assuming you at CoinMarketCap. That's why I was.
There we go. Yeah. So now we have 7 exchanges. When we would go live about Texit, we
Yeah.
had more, but again, CoinMarketCap takes a long time to update everything. But
Yeah.
when we would come on here, M.I.M.S, 1 exchange, now we're at 7,
Mm,
and there's 3 more coming.
right. Yeah. Yeah. I
Massive,
mean,
massive growth.
yeah. This is what you want to see. You know, I've seen other projects, and it takes them forever to get listed on an exchange. And here we are, and since the time that we got in, so we got in what, May? So like what,
Yep.
5
May,
months?
May,
Yeah.
early June. Yeah.
Yeah, May, yeah. I mean, so like 5 months, and I mean, just massive growth, more exchange listings, growing community. Look at the coin value, it's going up, even if you look at the chart, it's beautiful. This is what you want to be a part of. Like Mike said, you want to be in early on something big. And when you're in early on something big, that's how you benefit massively later on. And like you said, this ain't no get rich quick. Here we are, crowdfunding, and we're getting rewarded in TXC for participating in supporting the mining infrastructure. So remember how I talked about valuing your wealth in assets, not dollars?
Mm-hmm.
That's where people are getting confused. They keep trying to say, well, we're making money in dollars and dollars and dollars. And no, I don't see it that way. And you shouldn't see it that way. You need to see it in how many TXC am I getting every single day? How can I get more? How much gold and silver? How many ounces of silver? How much Bitcoin? How much TXC? That's how you value your wealth. Okay. So when I look at Texit and I see the massive growth and excitement and its success, I don't look at it in dollar denominated viewpoints and terms. I don't see it that way. Nobody should see it that way. Right. And don't even think about it or talk about it. You should see it in the way of what it is. You're buying a miner and you're getting TXC coins. And that TXC coin has value.
And what I love, M.I.M.S, if you watched our live last week, if you didn't, go back and watch it. It's on our YouTube. What did we say was going to happen, M.I.M.S?
Oh, we foretell a lot of things, but yes, sir. Oh, did we lose you?
No,
there you
I
go.
sorry, I was laughing too
Okay.
hard.
Yeah.
Yeah. So go back and look at last week. We told you guys
Mhm.
the price was going to go up. It was going to get nudged up.
Yeah.
Sure enough, we were at
Yep.
420. Even on the live
That's
on
right.
Uniswap, it dipped below $4.
Mm.
1 week later, here we are at 535. This is
Yeah.
why you run with the runners, guys.
Yeah. Yep. And it's going higher. It will go higher. And like we said, this ain't no get rich quick, but this is about real infrastructure, real value, real solution. American made blockchain, freedom and liberty. We, have a right to choose how we're going to do business. You can continue to do business and conduct global trade and commerce in a Federal Reserve's note, a debased, debt instrument, essentially what it is, a debt instrument that you call money, and you can hold value to that and try to play by those rules if you want, or we could set our own rules, or we could follow a system that benefits us, we the people, you know, and so that's what the blockchain is bringing, that transparency, that security, the option, of not having to be under the thumb and under the enslavement of a debt-based fiat monetary system and its powers, but actually bring in real, true freedom and liberty the way it was supposed to be in this country and around the world, really, freedom of money.
Yeah, and again, guys,
movement.
I love Bitcoin. Okay, I'm not telling you to not buy Bitcoin, but Bitcoin is the biggest crypto. Okay, in order to make generational wealth, you're going to have patience, just like you do with gold and silver. Okay, it's not going to happen in the next 3 year, 2 years, even 3 years, probably at this point, right? Bitcoin has not even doubled in a year. It has not doubled in a year. Okay, 69. I guess it did technically kind of, no, that'd have to be 140. So it hasn't even doubled in a year, right? But when you can get in early on something like Texacoin, again, that is very similar to Bitcoin, that is a layer one, that is proof of work, that makes us different than 99% of cryptocurrencies out there.
Yeah.
Guys, we've doubled since August. In August, we were at $2. We were at under $2 in August. It's October. That's 2 months. We have more than doubled. If you sold at the right time, we've tripled. Tripled in 2 months. Now, I don't know what's going to happen in the future, but I know that I love this community. I know that we're building something real. I know that I trust and believe in the leadership. And I know that even people who have not even told anyone are winning with this M.I.M.S. I had a guy in my hometown who I think bought a miner in June, has not told a soul, has not brought anyone on. He's already earned over $1,000 in Texacoin from just mining daily. That was it. It was that simple.
Yeah, I mean, folks, listen, we share this information and you need to let people know. People need options. They need solutions. We got the options. We got the solutions. We're winning. Obviously, we've been mining this coin since it was pennies, and now it's dollars and it's going to be tens of dollars. And if we could see hundreds of dollars, if not greater. And, when you look at Bitcoin, like Mike was saying, if Bitcoin goes to $1 million, which I believe it will, because when you value anything in dollars, what is the dollar going to continue to do? Be debased and lose value. So what happens to assets? They're going to continue to rise in value. Bitcoin is the digital asset. They consider it digital gold. We will see $1 million for Bitcoin, but that's a 10x from here. It's a 10x from here. It's just nice. 10x is nice, but the money that you have now is going to do you much better off into some other digital assets like TSC, Texacoin. All right. When you're talking about a 10x in Texacoin, we're talking about what, $50 a coin or so, somewhere around there.
Yeah.
I mean, we already have a path to 80 for this coin, and I think we'll get there before Bitcoin gets to $1 million. Okay, so yeah, I mean, this is the time, folks. You got to take action. We can only say it so many ways, but yeah, Mike, everybody who's got in with us, they're winning. And this opportunity with Texacoin is limited, just so you know.
Yep.
There's only 1 million seats on a rocket ship. Okay, limited miners. That's it. All right. So don't think that, oh, this thing is they're just gonna keep selling miners forever, and that's what's gonna keep them. No. We're talking about real blockchain here, real solutions, real value, and we're just releasing our layer 2. So there's more things to come, folks. It gets better and greater later. But obviously we can see there's real value here right now. So definitely lock in position and get you a seat and tell people, man, help them get in a position right now while the getting's good.
Shout out to Josh. I remember he said that last week when he was watching the runners. He's running with the runners for sure. And he's like, I'm going to buy more Texacoin at $4. And here it is, $5.35. So he can either
Fire.
hold on to it or sell it. It's totally up to him.
It was like 25% on his money already, you know, in a week.
Yeah, at least.
Yeah, 25%.
Sharon, I'll message it to you right after this. And I got the video recorded. I just got to edit it and get it out. All right, last one, M.I.M.S. We had huge news on the Zoom tonight. I had to screenshot it. Bobby Gray introduced us turning on one of our new mines in Texas. All right. There's no sound because I didn't record it right, but I want to show you guys. This is us live on the Zoom. You'll see the videos coming up, and we're getting ready to flip on the switch to one of the new mines. I can't remember if it was in Victoria or Mansfield. But get ready here. They're going to show it here. Massive, massive congrats to the Texas mining community. There we go. The fog hashing is turned on.
It's like real estate.
Boom.
You know, if I build a big luxury
Flips
hotel.
the switch. Flips the switch. Boom. Everything running right there.
Live.
And we have other videos. You know, this is like raw footage, guys. This is like, you know, the first time this has happened. They'll make better production stuff. Bobby said he literally just got this right before the Zoom went on. But another miner up and running in Texas, guys. This is what makes us different from 99.9% of everything out there in the crypto and blockchain space.
Yep, definitely, folks. There's only about 20 or 30 proof of work blockchains out there. Texacoin, definitely one of the top ones, if you ask me. And yeah, I mean, you can see it. There's transparency here. You know, people are questioning liquidity. They're questioning this and that. Listen, the best thing I tell you is hop on a Zoom, okay, and see for yourself. The transparency is there. The liquidity is there. The physical infrastructure is there. There's real value in that real estate, okay? There's real value in this infrastructure, okay? This is a layer 1 blockchain that is getting built upon. There are layer 2s. There are businesses that are accepting Texacoin. There's more infrastructure and growth on this blockchain, and we're going to see it on a global scale. Okay, so this is not like just some code and somebody presses a button and they created 1 million coins, or they created some software or whatever have you. And no. This is real physical infrastructure based in Texas, all throughout Texas. Okay, and it has real value. Okay, this ain't that and that ain't this. So whatever you think it is, it's not that. Trust and believe. Definitely reach out.
Yeah, there's a lot of misinformation going around on the internet right now, guys. The people who think they know about blockchain and who think this is something that it isn't. But I'm going to leave you with this last one here, M.I.M.S. Okay, a White House administration just urged the USA to mine Bitcoin. So if there are federal people telling the United States to mine Bitcoin, do you think they're going to support physical miners in Texas that are mining Litecoin, that are mining Dogecoin, right? Other USA-based cryptocurrencies. So the future is bright, guys. I'm going to leave you with this tonight.
So I think Bitcoin mining should be considered and you know, where it's appropriate, and hopefully that's as many places as possible in all of these projects where there are RFPs going out, you know, building data centers, you know, leveraging all the assets that the United States government has. You know, Deputy Secretary Feinberg over at the Pentagon, Secretary Lutnick, you know, they're businessmen, right? And one of the things that they understand is you have to monetize your balance sheet. If you have a bunch of assets that are not being utilized to the fullest extent, that's a problem, right? That's just waste in a sense. And so they're looking at it as, you know, what land do we have? What energy generating resources do we have that we're not maximizing right now? And one of the ways to maximize that, which actually has kind of a flywheel effect because it, you know, can generate revenue and contribute to grid stability, is Bitcoin mining. So it absolutely needs to be part of all of these discussions as they move from RFP phase into implementation.
I mean, M.I.M.S, The future's so bright. We probably should have wore sunglasses again, but
Yeah.
this is an absolute game changer, as Randy says.
Yeah, we're ahead of the game, folks. You know, in my opinion, I could see the situation evolving in a future where the Texas coin miners that are all throughout Texas could be a matter of state security for Texas.
Yep.
Okay. All the physical miners are in Texas. And we know what the state of Texas represents. And as Texas coin gets the status and notoriety that it should have, okay, throughout Texas and around the world, okay, it is very important that this blockchain is ran the way it is, that it is a permissioned blockchain, the way that it's done a certain way. Okay. And so a lot of the things that people throw out there to make something seem like it should be this way to be better, in certain instances, in cases and situations, those things aren't what makes something better. And I'm telling you, the way Bobby Gray, in my opinion, has set up this Texas coin infrastructure is something that I can see is very strategic for the state of Texas and anybody who is mining Texas coin right now. We're ahead of the game. Okay. We're the pioneers. It takes people with vision. It takes people with, you know, guts and testicular fortitude to, you know, go against the, you know, the common status quo accepted way of things being done and show that things could be done in a better way. You know, so this is why I get excited when I talk about the tokenization of assets. You'll be able to tokenize your assets and you'll be able to borrow against them. And all that's going to run on the blockchain. Right. And so we're so early. We're mining cryptocurrency. We're winning. We're getting gold and silver. We're winning and we're not going to stop winning. We got the wind at our back. You know, at this administration, everything that's happening globally with the collapse of the monetary system right before our eyes, it is getting resetted on the blockchain. Okay. And we're in every blockchain protocol that we can imagine that's going to have value in the future.
I love it, man. All right, runners, we're going to keep winning. You guys have an awesome week. We will see you guys in the groups and the chats, and we're just going to keep winning. Next week, we're going to be live from Miami, Florida. So it's happening this quick, M.I.M.S. I can't believe it.
I'm telling you, we just got back.
All right, guys, lace up. We are wealthy. Peace.
Peace.